Hey, what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy. You're listening to my podcast, Vox and Hops, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians to talk about their lives, music, and craft beer. Last night was another incredible Vox and Hops Thirsty Thursday virtual hang. I love these. It is just so much fun. I can't believe that we've been doing it for 3 months. It blows my mind every time I think about it. Thank you all for everyone who has ever come to one. I love you dearly. It is something that I cherish, and I'm already looking forward to next week. If you'd like to join us next week, please check out the link and save it in the description of this podcast. It is always the same link, so just save it and come hang out. All month long, I am shining some light on Unique Leader Records. They're one of the most exciting extreme metal labels out there with a bunch of amazing bands. You should absolutely go and support the extreme music that is being released by Unique Leader Records. I have the pleasure of playing a brand new track from my brothers in Cytotoxin right now. Get ready to be pummeled by radiation. Here is Lupus Aurora. boom. Oh shit, they've outdone themselves on this one. I love Cytotoxin. I had the pleasure of touring with them back in the fall of 2019, and they are amazing humans. Excellent musicians, so much fun to be around. I love them to death. This new record drops on August 21st via Unique Leader Records. Please do me a favor, go pre-order it right now. You can save 10% if you do that via the Unique Leader indie merch page. When you're checking out, just use the promo code Vox&Hops, that's VOXANDHOPS, and you will save 10%. And you will be doing me and my friends in Cytotoxin a favor. Support extreme music. On today's episode, I am actually with Grimo, the vocalist of Cytotoxin. Here it is, Vox&Hops episode number 160.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today, I'm with Grimo of Cytotoxin, and I am so happy to be with you. We met it's almost 2 years ago, which is crazy at this point, on Hell Over Europe 2 alongside Aborted and Benighted. It was a very, very fun tour, probably one of my favorite European tours, honestly. How are you? Let's just start with a simple question. How are you doing, brother?
So I have to say hello to everyone too. So sending over some greetings from the hot Germany. I have to say I'm really happy to see you again, Matt. I remember as well the tour we had was really cool, and I have to agree it was really funny, and so it's cool to see you again. And right now I'm just trying to hide from the heat over here, to hide in the flat, and being active when it's dark and cold outside, like a bat. So far, it's cool to somehow survive the day, but right now I'm fine. It's everything fine with me. So I hope it's the same with you.
Absolutely, everything is great over here in Canada. We are starting to deconfine a little bit here in Montreal, which is refreshing and confusing at the same time. I don't know about how you feel about all this, but how did you cope with social isolation when you guys had to be isolated?
I was talking with a lot of people, with our fans all over the globe about this, and I have to say that in Germany the situation is quite calm a bit, because we have a federal system, so each of our 16 federal countries is handling it by themselves, making their own laws and restrictions. So even if you drive to the next city, you have different restrictions, so it's quite strange. But I try to see it positive, that the people have to slow down a little bit and somehow restore some energy, and looking forward to the situation when you can be on tour, on stage, or you can visit concerts again. So right now it's something I can deal with it. So, but it's a problem because we're releasing a new album, and we cannot play right now stages, so that's a bit strange and not that good, but at least it's something we can handle. It's not that problem at all anymore. But I hear that the problem, even in maybe for example United States, it's way more, it's worse than here in Germany, because they are starting making concerts again. I heard from a concert yesterday in Czech Republic with a turnout of 600 people were there. So it's over here in Europe. Somehow it's starting again, so I try to keep it, to think positive about it, and hope that it will be better soon.
It's all that we can do right now is to just try to do our best to follow the rules, and to hope that everything goes back to a somewhat normal future, hopefully sooner than later, but we got to see. And concerts, yes, it's such a vital part of who we are, as musicians. Not being able to even just go see my friends is a strange thing that I've had to deal with, but I'm getting to talk to a lot of people like this, so I am appreciative of that.
Now you miss it because you can't go to concerts, you can't perform your music on stage, and now you miss it even more, the energy you need for your life. So I mean, in Germany it's tough for all the artists that earning their money with this job, and how it depends to be an artist. So I hope those people can go through this, and that's really what concerns me, at least.
Yeah, the people are going to have to hustle. Luckily, here in Canada, they've extended our monthly set amount. It's called a SERP, the set amount of money that they've been giving to citizens that cannot work because of the COVID-19 situation. And we've been lucky that they've extended it another 2 months. But who knows what's going to happen after that?
In Germany, it's quite the same. That there is some amount of money that should reach for the artist. They cannot work right now, but somehow it's not easy to see through this how much money you can get, and So I just hope this whole stuff will be over soon, because the people are just fed up with it. So let's see. I hope.
Yeah, when I reached out to you to do this, because we've toured together, I know that you're not super big into drinking alcohol because you are such a healthy person. But you told me that you have a beer on your side. So tell me about this beer that you are drinking or will be drinking with me tonight.
When we were talking about making this episode, I thought maybe this will be the toughest episode for you, Matt, because, like you said, I'm not into drinking at all. So, but I did my homework, and what I have with me is a local beer. It's called Chiemseer, and it's not easy to spell it. It's even worse to tell you all the letters. But there's a little story behind it, because when I am into training, I'm doing some weightlifting, and I have some people around, some men that train with me, and it's like a habit that after the training, those guys drinking that beer, because they were telling me it restores your energy, all your energy you need. And so I want to use this to make some shout outs to Marcel, to Gerzi, and to Shiffy, because they are my training buddies. And if you're into drinking, maybe you can use that beer, Chiemseer, after your training, and maybe it boosts your energy. So that's that's the advice I can give you from the local training community that is maybe using this beer to restore energy and substances for the body. That's the beer I have with me here for you.
That's amazing, and I really, really appreciate it. Take me down. Being from Germany, there is such a rich beer culture. It is a part of who the entire culture of your country.
Yes.
When did you discover that it wasn't for you, and what would be the reason for that?
At first, I have to say it's true that Germany, drinking beer, making beer, is such a huge part of our history, it seems to be. And every city, even every village, has the own beer, has its own brewery. And the people are really proud about this. And somehow there is some kind of competition between the cities. Hey, we got the better beer than yours. And I think I made this decision when I was 14 or 15 years old, because I was into the local party scene, and we were dancing to strange music, and we were dressing up really bad. And somehow it was my job to bring the drunk friends back at home and laying them into their bed. And there was once I was bringing a buddy home, and his rate was too high, and I was getting some kind of shopping cart, and I was sitting this guy inside the cart, bringing him home, and once I let him into his bed, his mother was entering the room. She was asking me, what's the matter here? Because it was 2:00 in the morning or at night. And I was just about to answer her question, and right in that moment he was puking himself. And I don't know if that was the turning point for me, but I decided I just don't want to end up like this. And I was proud that my personality was like this. I could be happy or having fun without just drinking alcohol. And so far I can hold it up. I just had a tour. There was a vocalist from a French death metal band. I will not tell the name. And he was trying to convincing me to drink alcohol, but he was taking care about me at the same time. But so far, for me, it's no problem not to drink alcohol. Even if I know it's somehow part of the community in the metal scene that drinking beer and stuff. So it's no problem for me. But it's something I can live without really good.
That is 100% true, because that whole tour was 30 plus shows, and you were there every night with us while we were all having fun and enjoying some brews. You were there with us having fun, being sober, and that's a refreshing thing to have on a tour bus.
Maybe that's also the reason, because I was looking forward to the tour so much that I won't be aware every second without losing any kind of moment. So maybe that's also a reason to keep it in my mind 100%. And maybe that's also part of this. But it's no problem for me if people are around me that starting to drink and then they're getting sleepy and yelling. It's okay. It's something I really respect. It's no problem for me.
On my side, I am drinking Vox Populi's Kettle Sour. This is a Berliner Weise with some orange juice added to it. It's basically like a mimosa. It's 2 p.m. for me here in Canada, so it's absolutely delicious. Cheers to Vox Populi for sending me some of these brews to share with my friends during my podcast interviews. And if you live in Ontario, go pick it up, because they just launched it at the LCBOs. You should do that, people. It's a great, great afternoon brew. Clocks in at 3%. Delicious.
Let me ask, Master, do you collect all these beers? Do you have some kind of place in your flat where you're collecting all this? Or do you have to move to another flat because you need more space someday, maybe?
That would be the issue. I thought about it at first, about starting to keep stuff, but we are trying to become somewhat more minimalists here. We live in a small condo. I have 2 kids with their toys and stuff. I don't have space for all the beers that I've drank, and I don't use Untapped. There's an app that you can use to track the beers that you have drank. But funnily enough, I tend to remember what I've drank, even though I don't write it down or have any. I have it written down for the episodes, obviously, but I have drank a lot of different beers, and if I had to keep them all, it would be it would be impossible. I'd need a whole new house.
Can you remember the taste of the beers? Is there a beer that stands out, which you always remember because it was so good?
Oh, yes, there's so many, of course. It takes me right back to the place. It's like when you hear like an album for the first time and you know where you were. I don't know if that's it for you. Every time I hear, this is a funny high school story. I remember leaving high school, listening to Korn's first album, and that song Predictable came on, and any time that I hear that, I am directly back walking out of my high school depressed about some stupid teenage angst situation, and it brings me right back there. And it's the same thing with a beer. I can remember where I was when I drank a beer. There's just something that is so emotional connected with me and a beer for some reason.
Emotions, and it's linked with the memory, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can really understand here. That's cool.
Classic Vox and Hops question. Take me back to your youth. When you were growing up in your parents' or guardian's house, what would be the soundtrack of your youth? What music was playing? When you were not in control of the music, what music did your parents or guardians listen to?
I think my dad was... It's mainly the reason why I was attracted by heavy metal music, because he was listening to all the classics like AC/DC, Def Leppard, also Judas Priest and ZZ Top, and those two bands are still one of my favorites today, because I love to listen to, like, for example, Ram It Down or Painkiller from Judas Priest, or the Eliminator Afterburner CDs from CC Top. And that's something I grew up with. So maybe that's the answer to your question. That's still that's the link between me, my dad, and heavy metal music. And I think I will keep that band in my mind, in my soul forever. And that's somehow that's the soundtrack of my youth. And then I was going to my own direction. Because that's quite funny. You were telling about Korn, and for me it was Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit was for me the first step to the link between hip hop music and metal. So that's maybe I have to say I had 2 or 3 months where I tried to dress myself up like Fred Durst, but that's somehow that's a secret. But I just had to say that it was not the style I want to have. So, but that's a band that's still really important for me, Limp Bizkit. Especially the Chocolate Starfish record. It's still quite cool to listen to it. The same like you was telling before, the memories you have while sitting in your room and listening to all the stuff. And from that music, I felt I want to search for something more extreme, and I ended up with Swedish death metal. And I painted a huge flag of Sweden right into my room because I was so fascinated by Swedish death metal, like Dismember, Grave, and Bloodbath, and I was into that stuff. And maybe that's also something I still keep up today, and I like to listen to all the stuff, the Swedish death metal sounds, and that's somehow my way how I grew up with the music, and maybe how I ended up in death metal at least.
When did you start screaming? Having toured with you, I remember the first time I saw you. I had heard you guys before the tour, though, because when your CD dropped in that summer before the tour, I was like, what is this? This is good. This guy can scream. He's amazing. But then I saw you live, and I was like, holy shit, this guy has like so many voices. That tour was impressive, all the vocalists up there with Julian with all the voices, with you with all your voices. When did you start screaming? How is this something that you got involved in?
I have to say, when you bring up the example of the tour, that I really enjoyed the tour, how we vocalists supported and respect each other. And before I started making music with Cytotoxin, I had 2 bands. And I would say the first record where I had a song with my vocals on track was back into 2008. I think I was starting listening to brutal death metal music maybe 99, 98 or 2000. And in 2008 I was trying myself to making some vocals, and somehow it was cool. But I think Cytotoxin is the first real serious project where I wanted to spend all my energy and time I have over into the band. But the first try was in 2008. Yes, but I would consider the style of vocals more growling than screaming, because I tried to scream and doing some black metal vocals in the beginning, and I felt my voice is not made for this. I got really struggle right after it, like a sore throat for 2 or 3 days. And I know I can perform those vocals, but I never could do a tour with daily music on stage and doing that kind of vocals, because I need some kind of recovery. So I was sticking to making death metal vocals, and yeah, it was like a tryout to see how it works, how the people like it around, how the people before the stage, in front of the stage, like it. And yeah, so that's the reason why I was sticking, and I'm still sticking to death metal vocals instead of doing some screams stuff.
You are a very intense front man. Where did all that come from? Who have you inspired your live persona from? Because you're very intimidating, but yet very friendly. on stage.
That's cool that you appreciating this, and I'm really happy for your words, Matt, because for me it's like I want to create memories out of moments, and I know you know the issue. When you arrive too late, you just have to play less songs that you thought of, or you have some kind of delay in the running order, so you have to deal with some time issues maybe. And in my opinion, even if I got just 10 minutes, I remember there was our first tour we did in Europe. On the first show in Germany, the tour package was part of some kind of festival, and we got a time delay all over the day, and the promoter was coming to us and he was telling, hey guys, you just have to play 3 songs because there's not much time. But I remember it was an intense show. We just played our 3 most brutal songs, and I just wanted that the audience can still enjoy our set, even if there are just 3 songs that we play. But of course I have some idols that I saw on stage, and they really impressed me, and also the way I act on stage. I can say, for example, Elliot from Beneath the Massacre, the kind of aggression he has on stage. And I was so happy to meet him at a local show here in Germany, to talk with him some words. And also Frank Mullen from Suffocation for the hacking hand he is famous for. And also Sven from Aborted. That was in the beginning, in the early days, it was his voice, because I never heard such a voice on a record, the brutal style he did. And maybe those are the 3 men that brought me into this music. And maybe there is a fact that I have to tell you, because when I was back in school, there was a girl, I liked her, and she was attracting me, and we had some kind of after-school activities, and there was a theater group, so we were playing some stories, and like an opera without singing. And there was a German fairy tale. It was called the Nussknacker, and she was playing the princess, and I wanted to play the prince, of course, but the role was not chosen for me because I was the Red King,
the bad guy,
the bad guy. And in that moment, I mean, the room was full with all the parents, I think an audience of 150. And I just thought, okay, let's fuck this shit. It doesn't matter. I go on stage, I play the Red King, it doesn't matter. And I did it so well, all the people laughed. And so it actually wasn't visible that I was pissed off because I could not play the prince. So I realized I like to be on stage and playing some kind of roles. It doesn't matter how the circumstances are. And so I was sticking to this. And even if you play on, like, for example, Brutal Assault, and you have an audience of 10,000, 11,000 people, of course I'm a bit nervous, but I would say I'm just like excited for it. I have a fear that something could go wrong. I trust my team, I trust my bandmates, and so it's not like I have this fear right before I'm entering the stage. Somehow it's no problem for me. I like to do this. Maybe it's some kind of ego thing that's no problem for me. But overall, it's cool that you appreciate that. I like to be on stage, and I like to create this unity between me and the crowd, because I know where I came from. Once I was before the stage, I was looking up to bands, and I was really happy if they realized that I'm there, that I'm part of the concert as well. So yeah, maybe that's the reason why I like to be on stage, and that's the reason why it's visible that I have this energy and somehow play around with this. So yeah.
That's very interesting. I absolutely was also in the plays, doing plays in high school, a part of the theater group. It was probably one of the first times that I performed in front of a large group of people as well. And yes, absolutely. You guys, I love the whole Chernobyl theme that you guys explore. I love the thought that of putting on a show. You guys are doing more than just standing there and playing music. You got different props that you use. If money wasn't an issue and you could have a headlining set with a full production, where can you take this? What would be like a dream way to present Cytotoxin visually for people in your Chernobyl theme?
That's really cool that you picking this up, because we try our best to bring this atmosphere on stage, because under the line it's still a serious topic, and it's not that easy to keep this balance between making an entertaining live show and on the other side having a serious message you want to transport. And we try to do it as good as we can with all the barrels we have, with the smoke in the fog machine, with all this light we use. Of course, it would be much better if we have some kind of staff that maybe could help and doing some stuff for us. But right now, on the level we are right now, I think we made the best out of it, and we don't stop. We still have ideas how to improve it, how getting to the next level. And we tried some stuff over all the years during the shows. Just for example, doing a Bengalo smoke pot into the barrel and handling over to the crowd. And the crowd is running around with this. That's something. Of course, right before the show, we were discussing. Maybe it could be dangerous if somebody is inhaling the smoke and blah. And at least we just tried it, and somehow it worked. So that's the experience we take around with us. So, and for me, it's really happy to hear how, like, for example, you appreciate the work that is behind, because it's not easy to, like I said, keep the balance.
Absolutely. And having witnessed watching Eric from Watain pass a burning torch into a crowd in El Salvador, I think you guys are okay with your barrel out there. I remember us watching him do it and going, "Oh my God, what's he doing? Everyone has long hair."
Oh yeah. How ended this up? Was it okay?
It was okay. It was okay. It was okay.
Does the venue still exist? Or
it was outside, luckily. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
About your topic, you guys just are about to drop your new record, Nuklearth. Love the name. It's coming out August 21st via Unique Leader Records. And how do you keep going with this topic of Chernobyl? You mentioned that it's something that you are still passionate about, that you want people to know about. Do you ever feel like you'll run out of ways to talk about this?
No. That's actually something that surprises me as well, because remember we were starting the band on the first CD, Plutonium Heaven. It was just like a report. We were reporting the whole incident, and with all the timeline. And on Radio Phobia, we were talking about the aftermath, right after the incident, maybe the following up 2 or 3 years. And Gammageddon was maybe 2 or 20 years ahead. And this is maybe I would say, the most dystopic version of the theme. And somehow I feel it's still present, it's still up to date, the whole theme, because when I'm doing some background research for the lyrics, we have to talk about Fukushima, where still the reactor it's still a horrible situation over there, where the contaminated water is running out right into the ocean. And you know about my way of life, my nutrition, my vegan diet. When we talk about climate change and how the ice is melting, and when we think about that a government is hiding barrels of toxic waste right under the ice, and the ice is melting. And that's something where the Chernobyl theme and global warming is like it's combining, and so it's still a daily topic for me. And the positive thing about this is that I do not run out of ideas. I still have lyrics and background for, I think, 2 or 3 albums. And yeah, that's something I have to sort out. But I think we should not stop with warning the people and making people being aware about this. And I don't know if you saw the HBO series Chernobyl.
I did. It was very, very well done. Did you enjoy it? Was it accurate?
I mean, we were discussing this in the band, and I have to say there was some different opinion about, but mainly it was positive. And I'm one member in the band that really appreciate this, and I would say it's quite accurate. I would say 95%, but at least it was, at the end, it was really enjoyable to watch, and it was somehow quite entertaining, even if you are not into the topic. I think especially with the last episode, you can really understand how this whole stuff, how the whole incident goes on its way. And I was quite happy that Chernobyl has this kind of effigy, you know, like having this series that's reaching a lot of people and making maybe more people aware about this. And even for me, if I have to say, I'm really into the topic. So, but it was enjoyable to watch. And yeah, I'm really happy that this one, maybe for example, that this exists, that the people always getting remembered, and they don't forget Chernobyl. You know that. That's really important.
It was just missing a Cytotoxin track. It would have been perfect if you guys had it on the soundtrack.
Yeah, we just were too late with the record. So yeah, because it takes some time. You know, like plutonium, it stays for more than 20,000 years. So half-life. So yeah, some things take time, but maybe there will be Chernobyl Part 2, and they can ask us again. Let's see.
Yes. One last question, Grimo. You are a very, very healthy person, an outspoken vegan. Touring with you, you were working out every day. You had Julian from Benighted out running with you, training with you. This probably never happens to you, but I've been asking this question, and I'm curious. What is your hangover cure? You don't get hangovers, but when you do, what do you do?
I think running. Running is the best way to restore metabolism in the body, to getting some fresh breath into the lungs. And for me, it was really important to keep up, to train my endurance, because once I was into weightlifting, concentrating myself or focusing myself on gaining weight. And it was at the beginning of Cytotoxin, I was 15 kilograms of more weight. And I realized performing on stage, I have to make a decision between doing vocals or entertaining and running around, because I was too exhausted because of my body weight. And I decided to do more endurance training. And also I realized the vegan diet, it's boosting my endurance so much. So I'm now happy that I can run around performing and without getting out of breath to doing the vocals. So for me, it was also a decision I made for myself and also for the band to just perform better, to be honest. So yeah, but to answer your question, I think running, it's the best way to get over the hangover. I think that's to deal with the hangover, actually. And I was quite happy on the tour that we had some kind of trainings group, like, today we have some more time. Let's go out for a run. We have a park nearby. Let's go doing some, because for me it's the way of sightseeing.
Yes.
I could walk around, but I like to run around. But I have to tell you the story of the first show we did. It was in was it Belgium? The first show we did on the tour. Do you remember?
Yes, I think it was in the Netherlands. It was at that nice venue.
Yeah, it was a nice town actually, and I decided to do a run right before the show, and I had 3 hours, but I decided to do it without a clock and without my cell phone. So when I'm foreign to a place, I just want to run into the direction, and after the halftime I turn around and just run the same way back. But somehow I lost my track, and I wanted to do 30 minutes, but I ended up with 2 hours, and I had to go to a store and ask where I am on the map, and I was so much away, I just lost my track. But I was back on time, luckily. But I just had a shirt, and it was started raining, and I just was afraid to getting a cold. And it was the first time or the first show on the tour. So I realized, okay, when I do running, I have to know where I am, how much I run, in which direction, and that's the reason why I picked up Julian, because Julian, he is really good into navigation. And yeah, it's good to have 2 people in the group. So I'm really happy that he teamed up with me and that I would motivate him to doing some training. And I'm really happy that he just wrote me after the tour. He kept up with the training.
Wonderful.
Not like the level we did on tour, but like 2 or 3 times a week. And he also works in a rehab center, and he is doing running with his patients. Maybe they got also some kind of hangover, and that's cool to use this for your own, for the people around you. And I think there was one day we were 5 people. I remember it was in Paris when we were playing on the show in the boat. And I was remembering we were doing training outside with Mendel, with Fonso, with Julian, with Sven. And yeah, we were so pumped up. Right before the show, we were pumped up your muscles, and it was really cool to motivate each other. And yeah,
that was a great show.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was at first it was so cool. I never played on a boat, and yeah, I remember that one. It was a beautiful place. We did some beautiful training right before, and we had a really cool show there. I remember it was really cool. I think it was the fifth show on the tour. And I think it was already a point where we all were a bit like a family. So the first days just passed by, and we starting getting knowing each other. And I think it was, from there on, it was really enjoyable. It was cool.
Absolutely, and I would do it again any day.
Yes, I agree. It was. Some days I really miss it, especially during some kind of pandemic. And you have to sit at home to remember. And that's the reason why I don't drink, because the people that drink, I could not remember. Sorry, somehow it was cool, but I did not remember how I went to the bed. And yeah, that's the reason why I want to be aware.
Grimo, thank you so much. Taking some time to sit down with me, sacrificing your health, having a beer with me. I really, really, really appreciate it. Everybody, check out the new Cytotoxin. I actually just played their track in the intro of this podcast. There's new stuff coming out soon too. Their album drops August 21st via Unique Leader Records. Nuklearth, I love the name. Thank you so much, Grimo. I can't wait to hang out with you again soon, face to face. Cheers.
I thank you too. Cheers, and take care, my friend. See you again.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. So much fun to get to catch up with Grimo. It has been far too long, but as it always is when you catch up with a fellow metal brother, it's as if you were never apart, and that is why I love metal and the metal community. Check out that new record. It's dropping on August 21st via Unique Leader Records. Do it. Pick it up. Listen to it. Get ready to be blown away by radiation and blast beats and extremity. Cytotoxin, don't fuck around. Nuklearth is going to take over the world. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will be back at you with 2 episodes next week, one on Tuesday and one on Friday. But until then, I hope you remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.